Good morning, everybody. It's Lindsey Huddleston back in the building with another Monday Motivation. Hey, if you can hear my voice or just see this at a later date, that's a good thing. That meant that you made it through and you're here for a purpose, for a reason. I know so many times we can get caught up and not know what we're here for, what we need to be doing, or life can just beat us down. So many tragedies, so many heartbreaking things that we see and witness. But you're here, which means there's an opportunity for some great things to happen and for you to do some great things. So, what is today's Monday motivation? Is it for the greater good? And look what I have right here. Good morning, Michelle Mimi Watkins. Always a pleasure to see you. It's been year after year after year, and here we are again. So, Michelle, I pose this question, a question that we should ask ourselves. And I'm glad that you're on here because you help represent the great dynamic of what this pertains to when we ask ourselves, are what we're trying to accomplish, is what we're trying to accomplish for the greater good. And I say that from a standpoint as a young man growing up in Detroit. I was talking to a friend about just my childhood experiences, and boy, we made it through. And when I talk about my Detroit thing, this is not to add so much street cred and all that, but it was hot in the city. I guess when you know it's hot growing up, you don't got to talk about it. What I mean is to be able to navigate so many different experiences and be in a position now as a family man and to be able to raise my daughter and just have a positive message to share. I think sometimes we have to step back because what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're working on with your family, with your business, or just in relationships in general, where you have to pose this question, is it for the greater good? Because so many times we can be so driven on just individual accomplishments and individual successes, Michelle. For the greater good, I've read, for the benefit or betterment of the majority of people, especially at the cost of a smaller or individual concern. Yeah, that's tough. Think about, is it for the greater good? Is it for other people to benefit? And it's hard sometimes for us, regardless of what your background is, to sometimes think about the greater good because we get so focused on the basic necessities of life. Hey, do I have some money? Do I have some food to eat? Do I have a roof over my head? And I understand that. Are my children provided for? Is my spouse supported? I mean, we have all these other things that we focus on. And let's just not kid ourselves. The celebratory expression that we have as humans, whether it's coming out the African American community, whether just around the world, like we want to party, we want to flex. I'll be totally honest. Coming from where I'm come, a lot of the things that I do now subconsciously is based on a lack of that when I grew up, being at a deficit. And it wasn't a deficit with love, no doubt. Shout out to my mom, shout out to my grandma, shout out to my dad, shout out to others in the community, Mr. Ernest McCoy at Henry Ford High School. I could name a lot of people, Melanie Nunn, Linda Spike, I can go on and on. But sometimes we felt we had a materialistic deficit. Sometimes we felt that because we didn't have the J's or these other materialistic things. Probably modern day would be a kid who doesn't have a cell phone or an iPhone. All I want us to start thinking about is the universe, in my belief, is going to respond to you a certain way. Here it is. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in the terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's from Nikola Tesla that we know was just a brilliant man as it relates to science and things like that. What I'm just saying is, when you got a situation going on, instead of just thinking about how do I just benefit from it, think about how does this impact the greater good. And again, I will acknowledge the idea that we're all not too quick to just jump on and be the company guy, the company woman. Oh yeah, I'm just going to stay here and get this done for the business. I understand that concept. But what I'm also saying too is that if you look at the impact you want to have, look at what just you can do compared to thinking of many. If you're really a believer that the universe will respond to you, just think about if you had a plan for you to have your own individual success and what kind of impact that's going to have on the universe compared to having the success that's going to impact so many. I think the universe would be more receptive to that idea because it impacts so many more people. You become this force multiplier, just you with an attitude of how can this help the greater good. And sometimes that greater good is just your family. Sometimes that greater good is just, the people in your community. Sometimes that greater good are the people on your team at your job. Because we all know great work quality of life is a great thing. I spent time with a great organization in Michigan's Children. It's a great quality of life doing great things. And I've been experiencing where it hasn't been at. So all I'm trying to say is ask yourself, is it for the greater good? You need some more motivation, need some more insight, check out the movie Mully on Amazon Prime. I probably talked about it before, but boy, oh boy. Not a dry eye in the building with this one right here. And that's just the kind of person I am when it comes to great stories like this. Mully is no ordinary rags to riches tale. It's the true story of Charles Mully, whose unlikely stratospheric rise to wealth and power leaves him questioning his own existence, searching for meaning. He grew up poor in Africa, and that's an understatement. His story was, I'm talking about parents died, had nobody to be with him. He was supposed to stay with his uncles. Uncle said leave. I'm talking about he didn't have no food. He woke up one day, his family was gone. They literally lived in a hut, mud floor, and he literally had no food. He walked around almost naked. I don't want to say for a few years before he finally made it to the city. He started his business and things worked out. But there was one point where he got robbed by some young people. And I don't think the robbery hurt him, but it was just really found out, what am I here for? Because he was doing very well. But it wasn't until he started thinking about how can I impact others that his life changed in a tremendous way. Now, he had his ups and downs, his bumps and bruises, but give credit to his wife. Oh, she stood by his side. Oh, man, it's a great story in regards to that. But now, Mully Enterprises or Mully's Kids, he's pretty much the social services for Africa, meaning that his business has grown tremendously in what he's able to do and what he's able to provide. But I say that to say that sometimes I think we got to step back. We get too caught up in wanting to open up the Louis bags, and I feel you with that. We get too caught up in wanting the material things, and I understand that too. Payment for job well done, but I think sometimes if you can think about what is it that you're working on and how it can impact more than just you in a positive way, I think you'll get, a better result in the outcome and a lot more fulfillment. It's not for me to tell you what's going to fulfill you. It's not for me to tell you that, hey, don't go after those, personal things. You're like, hell, I'm the same way. I'm always looking for something else I can add to or do, but I also have to step back at times and say, is what I'm doing going to impact others, and how is it going to impact others going forward? And I think that's something to keep in mind. Michelle says, greater good, sow seeds for the future heirs of the world. And that's very noble. But sometimes nobility gets lost when we're dealing with, first world issues. And our first world issues is, man, I got to pay my cell phone bill. First world issues is the mortgage is due. First world issues, got to take care of the insurance. First world issues are, hey, it's the first of the month. And we get so caught up in this swinging from vine to vine just to survive. And then, something crazy happens. And got to get a new tire. Got to do this. All these different things happen. That's not my life. I'm just saying it's the life that we share. And it's so easy to get into this cocoon in our thinking where it's all about what is it and what am I in it for? It's all about me. It's all about me taking care of myself. And society gives you that kind of feedback when we look at social media, look at the television, because we promote opulence. We promote having the best. We promote the finer things, and society sends you a message. You should have that. And I'm not telling you shouldn't. I'm not telling you for all your hard work you shouldn't be able to enjoy, what you've worked for, but I'm also giving you a thought going forward is how can we think about how others can be positively impacted? And posing a question when you start an endeavor, is it for the greater good? Just keep that in mind. Is what I'm doing going to impact others in a positive way? Is what I'm doing something beyond just me? And again, that could just be for your family. That could be your partner. That can be your business. That could be your job. That could be the sport you coach, Michelle. Thank you for all the great work you do. Just posing that question, I think that's something that can help us. It was on my heart to share that. Spent a great Saturday in Muskegon with my guy, Coach Keith Guy. Celebrated his 400th win. Look for the interview I'll be posting about him a little later on today. Great individual having an impact. And his players will all say in their interviews, KG talks about it's more than just basketball. I love y'all beyond basketball. It's about the greater good. I think we all have an opportunity to have an impact. I think we all have an opportunity to move things in the world. And I just want you to take a thought that it doesn't have to be just about you, but impacting others. And we all can impact others. We don't have to have a title. We don't have to have a name. We don't have to be known. You can impact others with your smile. You can impact others with a positive word. You can impact others just being able to listen. But think about, is it for the greater good? I won't keep you guys too much more on this Monday Motivation. I'm feeling good. Just want to go about having a great week. We are in January of 2023. Can you believe it? We'll be talking Black history in a minute, moving on. But I just want to say thanks so much. Rick Guire says, Lindsay, truth is, hey, Rick, how you doing? I started to volunteer and help others to get myself out of depression. Oh, wow. So for me, it's a selfish thing. The smiles on the other people's faces keep me going, and depression's clearly a first world problem. All the best, Brother Rick, man. I can't tell you how much, you sharing and being vulnerable and putting that out there helps, but also telling the truth that the selfish feedback you get from helping others has helped you with your depression. Rick, I just appreciate you listening and putting this message out, and I hope others can understand that when we do things for the greater good, it can have a major impact. And this is not to downplay depression, but I do understand us recognizing it as like a first world concern. But Rick, man, I appreciate you. You've made my day. And I'm glad to know that my message is having an impact, and you can come and share that. So I want to wish you the best. Thank you for sharing. And here's another testament that when we think about it for the greater good, we could do much more. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you. All the best to you, and keep helping those young people. With that being said, this is Lindsey Hudson with SPS. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much.